No, Sean the Harp. Day 32 of From Here to Jerusalem, and I'm in Carlo. Yeah, I'm in Carlo, just like that. Let me see. Let me get comfortable. I've just ordered coffee, and have some water, and I have a scone, and I'm going to munch the whole lot while I give you my update. So the last update I did was day 30. Day 30 from here to Rome. I was in Gregnamana in the Brandon Hill campsite, and I'd had a wonderful, wonderful night. And in the morning I woke up, and just before I left, I was given this. Oh, maybe it's already going a bit manky, but I wanted to keep it on me until I had done the update. And it was a little card from the girl that I met the evening before, and it says, "You are so amazing, Eliza." What is it? Walsh, yeah. And she's the daughter of Ken, who runs the campsite, and it says, "You are amazing at the Harp. You have been on so many extraordinary adventures, and you inspire me to be a better person. I hope this bracelet brings you home safely." So I'm going to wear it. And I'm going to take good care of it. And yeah, that was how my day started out. So Craignamanagh, I went into the town, and with Sean the Harp, I had Sean the Harp well wrapped up in his rain gear, because there was a forecast of loads and loads of rain, and I thought surely it won't be that bad. And I'm looking at the sky, and the sun is shining, and it's all good. I go into the cathedral. Now, Dishka Cathedral in Craignamanagh is renowned for its roof. It was a real, Craignamanagh was truly a place where it was all created around the abbey, more or less, and the abbey was very productive. And I don't know if any of you have seen my TikTok, but they used that little river streaming into the Barrow River for everything. Milling, sawing, you name it. They were highly productive, which of course is amazing. This is, I think, the thing I really like about the old abbeys and the old all these old sites, is that these monks and these nuns, they really worked at making life better for themselves, through just baking bread, made life better for themselves and for the world. So yeah, Gregnamana Cathedral, Dishka Cathedral, it has a roof which has only wooden dowels in it. So there isn't a nail in there, there's not a piece of iron in there. The whole thing is held together from pieces of wood, and it's old. It's old. It's a beautiful cathedral. It was very, very, it made me very quiet. Now, the day before, I had been thinking a lot about, I think I'd said that already, there were a lot of people that I'd been thinking about, the Cassius children, my friend Mary Mocathal, Michael Walsh came to mind. So I gave them all a candle, and I spent a little time in the cathedral before the service, and then just before 11, because I wanted to get onto the road, I left and I went to the Super Value and I got some provisions. And what I noticed is that, oh my God, the prices have gone up so much. I didn't know, but of course, I've not really been living in the real world, so I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, it was really quite striking how expensive things have become. But I wasn't sure, would I have a place to stay anywhere that evening? I was aiming for Bagnallstown, and I'd send a message to the local church community, but I hadn't heard anything back from them. And I think it was because I sent it late on Friday on Friday, and they just didn't get it. Now, I kept thinking that it was Monday, yeah, when I was in Craigna Manor, but of course it was Sunday. So I thought, do you know what? Never mind being in a rush once I came out of the thing. I'm going to go for a cup of coffee because there was a coffee place on the waterside. Actually, it was the B&B that I had called before, just in case, because I was afraid I would get so wet, which didn't happen in the end, coming over Brandon Hill, which I also didn't do in the end. And they had a little terrace outside, so I sat down, I ordered breakfast, and there's this guy, and he was sitting on the street side, and there's people walking by, and there's traffic coming by, and we're looking out over the boats and the river and the bridge, and it's just lovely. And that bridge, it's really, really interesting. They've got all these niches for statues, but no statues in there. And he's kind of looking around, and there's other people coming, and there was like one of those English bulldogs, you know, the really kind of looking dog. He came by, and I was kind of joking with the owner, and your man is looking and looking. I said, listen, just come and join me, just sit by the wall. And he said, yeah, no, because I'm not comfortable. And we start chatting away, like he's eating a scone, I'm eating my breakfast, and I'm telling my story, and a guy comes up and he wants to have a photograph with me because he heard the word Camino. And so we're chatting away, and he's telling me that he lives in Wicklow, and he's just bought a little cottage, and he's not entirely sure of what's going on with him, and he came down to the river to have a bit of a chat. We're chatting away, and he's saying he's not sure about whether he's on the right path, and I'm saying things like, but of course you are, like, there is no such thing as not being on the right path, like, and he felt like he was my age, and he was kind of saying that he had the feeling that he had missed out. I am familiar with that feeling, like, you know, when I went to college in my 30s, I thought, oh, I'd been too late, like I was studying music way too late, and I would never have a career, and you know, all of those things are just tactics to not engage with what is actually going on in our lives. Because of course, like once you start engaging with those things and you do what you really want to do, life turns into a wonderful place, a wonderful thing. Look at me, walking to Jerusalem. I know Sean Harper, he was getting a bit, he was a little bit upset with the rain, so I left him in the apartment where I'm staying. He wasn't happy to be left alone, but I'll go check on him now when I get back. So Paul and myself are talking, and this guy comes up, and you know, they're asking about the harp, and time is passing, like, and the weather is really nice. So after a while I say, I should start walking, like, because if I don't start walking, then, you know, I'll never make it. And I'm thinking, Bagnallstown is still a long way to go. So, and I said to Paul, you know, why don't you walk up with me for a little while? And from that moment, we were talking like Eckhart Tolle, you know, the power of now, and that really the only thing that matters is the right now. There's no point in saying, oh, well, you know, I didn't do this and therefore I can't achieve that, and, you know, the past influences the future. Like, where are you now? What are you doing now? Like, I'm on my way to Jerusalem. Do I know how to get there? I haven't got a clue. But I can walk. I can get up every day, and I can just walk out there and try and get a little bit closer. And if I do that long enough on a day-to-day basis, then eventually I will get to Jerusalem. And then he asked me, but how do I know what road to take? And I said, well, I kind of pick a route, you know. You're not the first one to ask this. I kind of pick a route, and then I go for it. And if it turns out, like what happened with me in Clonmel, that I feel I can't walk that road, I change the road and I find another route. But the aim is to get closer every day a little bit more. And we had a really nice chat. It was really nice. Then I'd seen this family already walk with a dog. This gorgeous, like bulldog. Also, but you know, the not the English one, but the one that is bit higher on its legs. It had these beautiful tiger stripes. And they asked me as well, where was I going? And I'm saying I'm heading for Jerusalem. And the woman says, we live in Dublin. Like, if you're heading there, here, take my number. You can come and stay with us. And I go like, yeah, that's amazing. And Paul is kind of looking at this, and he's kind of going like, yeah, why not? And I go, that's my life at the moment. It's a really good place to be. And the birds are singing, and the sun is not really shining, but it's not really cold either. And the water is doing its thing, and it's just wonderful. Like, it's wonderful. So we come to the first loch, and I make some photographs, and we're looking at what's growing in the water, and we walk on, we chat away. We come to the second loch, and there is a coffee pot there, which has no generator, because it's run on solar, and there is the cutest little narrowboat, really stunning. And there we also met Nicholas. Nicholas is a young American from Texas who talks like, yes ma'am, no sir, yes sir, Are you from the United States? Yes sir, I am. Have you come from far? Yes ma'am, I've been walking from far. But really gentle, really lovely, with his beautiful dog. But the dog was a bit restless. He wasn't happy, he didn't like us much. And people are coming and going for picnics, and there is this stunning little narrowboat, like really, really lovely. And the guy in the coffee pod, he's telling us that that's where he lives. And that man had the most stunning grey eyes, like I have not seen anything like it. It was busy at that loch, like it was really, really nice. And people were kayaking, and anyway, it was time for Paul to go back, and for me to move on, and for Nicholas to go the other way. And I said to Nicholas, maybe I'll see you somewhere in Europe, because he's following the E8. I don't really understand, because he's going the wrong way, right? He's then walking the other way. But I said to him, until our roads meet again, until our roads cross again. And I put Sean back on my back. There was toilets there on the second loch, and I went to the toilet, I put the harp on, and I started walking. I'm not 20 minutes in, or it starts raining. And, it's not too bad. I'm walking along, and we're making good time, and we're getting there, and I'm walking, and I'm walking a bit more, and walking a bit more. I see a few swans and some herons, and life is good. But the rain doesn't stop. And 1 hour passes, 2 hour passes. I wave at everybody who comes by. I talk to everybody who asks questions. And the rain just will not end, 4 hours. And of course, once it rains, I'm gonna put this in my mouth. Once it rains, everything gets wet. And it's not like along the Barrow Way. There are around most of the lochs, there are seating areas, but they're not covered. So everything gets wet, and it's hard to put the pack on when it's completely wet. So I thought, okay, keep walking, just keep walking. And I'd lean on the lock gates and just, take a rest of a few minutes, rest the feet. But the feet were getting very tired. I could do a crazy amount of walking, but, I was getting wetter and I was getting more tired. And after 2 hours, I really wanted to put the harp down. And I just couldn't, because it would not stop. It just wouldn't stop. 4 hours in, I'm at Gorse Bridge. And just before Gorse Bridge, and I met, so that was the second, so I had walked between Waterford and Yoga Barn. I'd walked with Willem, the Dutch guy, and he was telling me that as a kind of hobby, he has developed this habit of picking up rubbish from along the road. And I was saying to him, well, thank you very much, because the rubbish is really one of the things that's really been bothering me. I don't understand why people would, open their car windows and just throw stuff out. It's bad enough that we create as much of the rubbish as we do. And he said, yeah, I do it every day. Like, I go out, I take a bag, and I just fill it up with rubbish. And I meet a man from Carlo. He's walking along with his little dog, picking up rubbish all along the Barrow Way. So I said to him, so you're another one who's, keeping our beautiful country, like, really nice. And he says, yeah, yeah. And the Barrow Way is, like, it's beautiful. The path is all grass, and it's like, most of the time you're not on tarmac. So it's really nice walking. It's really easy on the hips and on the feet. There's not many people there. I was really enjoying it. But still, there is rubbish there. And this man, out of the goodness of his heart, picks all of that up. And he said he lived in Carlow, and he goes out all along the way towards Craignamana every day, 4 or 5 days a week, and picks up the rubbish. And I asked him, well, who's actually responsible for this? And he said, well, of course, officially, the Barrow Way, there is a foundation or an organization, and they put all the way markers up and stuff, so they are really responsible for it. But nobody, they keep the paths open, and they make sure the way markers are there, and they allow for these coffee pots to be set up, but they're not picking up the rubbish. So he's one of the people who does that. And just outside of Gorse Bridge, I meet this man, and he's in his 70s, I'd say, and he's there with a little scoop, and he's scooping all the dog shit into the barrow, and it's coming down in buckets, it's coming down in buckets. It's like, and I am doing my version of drowned rat. I was really tired by then, and then he stopped me, and I knew he was going to go have a long, good old chat, because that's the type of fella he looked like, and he did. And I said to him, listen, I really have to keep moving, because I'm going to get very cold really soon, because I haven't, I had a really good breakfast, which was, given to me by Paul, but I needed to really sit down and drink water and eat, and I hadn't done that because there just was no opportunity. And he says, oh, here, he gives me a Kit Kat, you take that. And he says, my name is Johnny Green. And he said, Johnny Green, that's really kind of you. And then he talks on, of course, but I'm enjoying the chat, so I'm staying with it. And he's, in the meantime, he's scooping the dog shit into the barrow, and he says, so where are you staying? Do you need a lift? And I said, to be honest, I don't know, but I think I've had enough now, because I'm starting to get really cold. And he says, there is a man called, was it something, Kennedy, I think. There's a guy called Kennedy up the road, and he does bed and breakfast. I said, you know what? Is there anywhere at the Gorse Bridge where I can get shelter? And he said, yeah, there is a place there on the right hand side, the old building, and it is like a museum and coffee place. He said, they're just about to close, but you tell them Johnny Green said that you could. There's cover there, and you tell them that I said that you can take shelter there for a little while, and they'll leave you alone. And I'm thinking, sure, whatever, they're most likely gone already. So he lets me go, and he says, listen, if you don't find anything, let me give you a lift to anywhere you want to go. And I'm thinking, yeah, I should stop. So I walk up to Gorse Bridge, and I can see people still in the kitchen, so I don't go into the covered area, and I just stand under the bridge, and I check what he's saying, is there a B&B in Gorse Bridge? And there used to be, he was right, there used to be a B&B Gorse Bridge, but it isn't there anymore. Now, there was another B&B, but I couldn't remember. I thought that, I'd seen a price that was really, really expensive, but I'm thinking, I can't do this, I can't do this anymore, so I called them in Bagnallstown, just outside of Bagnallstown, and I'm thinking, if Johnny is, either I have to walk there, and then I'll be half dead when I get there, but I don't have to do the big distance tomorrow. Or he does give me a lift, and then I just come back tomorrow to Gorse Bridge, and I walk the extra 8 kilometers to Gorse Bridge. So now she had a room. She had like I got her final room, and then she said to me, "Will we come and pick you up?" And I said, "No, there's a man called Johnny Green, and he will come and bring me." So I waited for Johnny, and yeah, there he comes with his poop scoop. And he's talking to a woman, and he's still scooping shit into the barrel. And he sees me and he goes, "Oh, hello, did you find a place?" And I said, "Not in Gorse Bridge, but does your offer still stand? Would you drive me to Bagnallstown?" And he said, "Yeah, of course, of course." So we walked to his car, and we put the Harper into the car, and he is kind of giggling at my story. And he gives me like the whole sightseeing tour of the area. So Gorse Bridge, they did have a B&B, and he said, "Oh, you know what you should have done? There was a house for sale there." He said, "You could have just bought the house, and then you didn't have to go anywhere. You would have just stayed here in Gorse Bridge." And he says, "Look, and that's the pub, Mahars. I'm going to go to a party there tonight, some jockey." And I'm thinking, if only you know, if any of you remember in 2010 when I went to Santiago de Compostela, I got myself into a bit of trouble with a jockey in Goran. And I realised that we're not that far away from Goran, so I'm having a little giggle to myself. And then he goes, he says, I'll show you around. And he drives, so we're heading for Bagnallstown, and we're on the Kilkenny side, but then you cross into Carlow, into County Carlow again. And there's all the Mullins training yards are there. And it turns out he lives across from there. So he goes like, "And this is where I live, and there is an old grain mill there, which is not used anymore. This stunningly stone building." And he brings me to the B&B, and I can't remember the name now. I'll know on tomorrow or for later. There is great. Is it right? Oh no, I can't remember now. Is it Grania? Grania and Tony. And Grania looks at me like I was really the Virgin drowned rat. And she had this lovely room with this amazing shower, and she made me a cup of coffee, and we had a chat. They just had their first grandchild. They were just back from visiting their first grandchild. And then I remembered that my friend Celia's husband, Keith, was driving to West Cork from Kent. He was on his way over as well, and he had said that he would take me out to dinner. So I'd left him a message saying, I'm in a B&B in Bagnallstown. This is where I am. Whenever you arrive, I will be here. And he's going, "Yay! We're going for dinner." And so I had my shower, and he came and picked me up with the dog. Oh, they have this lovely, lovely dog, like she's so sweet. And we went to the railway bar in Bagnallstown, and had the roast there. And they had a choice of beef, turkey and ham. It was like being back at home, yeah, turkey and ham, and also breaded chicken. And of course, breaded chicken, like that's not really a roast. So I thought that's what I'll have. And he had the turkey and ham, and we did a good old natter. And then the guy who I'd say they were the owners. I was chatting with the woman, of course, and the guy is saying to me, "So where are you heading?" And I said, "I'm walking to Jerusalem." He says, "It's only up the road." And I'm going like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, there's a Jerusalem like in Carlow." And I go, "Oh, so I only got one more day to go. I thought I had another 400 days." and he shows me on the map, and he goes like, "Next time when you come, bring that harp, and you can come and play music here." And so yeah, we had a good old chat with them. I went back to the B&B, and I slept like a log. And the next morning, She gave me a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful breakfast, and I ate the lot. And then Tony had to go to work. He volunteers for the ambulance service, the Order of Malta, and of course I was slow and we ended up behind the thing, and he had to be there in time. And anyway, the goodbye was really messy, and that's why I can't remember the names either. And of course, I never remember names on the day that things happen and on the day after. But I got to Gorse Bridge, and it was early enough. But of course, I had to walk the Gorse Bridge to Bagnallstown extra on that day because I was expected in Carlow by my very first Trust Roots family. So I'm thinking, okay, like you just got to go do it. Fingers crossed, no more rain. The sun was shining. It was really lovely. And then the whole morning, every half kilometer, I meet people and they're all asking me the same questions, of course. That's a big tent you're carrying? No, it's not a tent, it's a harp. Oh, really, it's a harp? Where are you going? Going to Jerusalem, where did you start? Clonakilty, etc. So I had loads of good chats. Like, I got to Bagnallstown at around midday. Like it took me 2 hours to get there, and then the walk to Leanan Bridge is really nice. It's really nice. I met a good few people on that stretch as well. And then Leanan Bridge, I needed to have, like, I'd had a coffee in Bagnallstown, but really quick, and it was outside, and I just wanted to sit down and take my shoes off. So I walked into this pub, and I meet Jerry. Jerry is just about to open the pub, Jerry Leamy, in Leamy's pub, and he says, I said I couldn't order a cup of coffee, and I was like, don't you worry, I'll put the kettle on for you now. And I come back and he's saying, so where are you going? We do the whole story, and then he says, oh, the kettle isn't boiling yet, but would you have a toasted sandwich? And I said, yeah, there's toasted sandwiches going, of course. He says, isn't it like when you're a pilgrim, like when you help a pilgrim, then they say a prayer for you at the end of their journey? I said, yeah, that's right. Do you want to be on the list? And he's not really answering. We're chatting away, and he's saying that he might, he would think about maybe doing the Camino, and I'm going like, yeah, you should. And I noticed that there's something wrong with his neck and the relationship between his neck and his shoulder, and I keep thinking, oh, Katie Sleeman with her Alexander technique, the relationship between the head and the head and the neck relationship is what makes us, move in the right way. We're well made. So I asked him. It turns out he broke his neck. Like, he fell and broke his neck, and he recovered from it. Like, he didn't die. He obviously there's still something in there that is stuck. And he went to Lourdes, and he had the whole, he did the baths there, and he came to the conclusion that, yeah, there really is something there, and he would love to do the Camino. So I said, do you want to come? And of course he said, nah, he couldn't, because he has a son that is still too young, and but maybe in a few years' time. So yeah, thank you, thank you, all those people, looking after me. Jerry and Grania and Tony and Keith, who bought me dinner, and Paul, who bought me breakfast. And then it doesn't stop. Like, I walk on and I think, okay, we've got another 8 to 10 kilometers to go, yeah? And maybe even a little bit more, but I'm not counting anymore because I'm thinking, I gotta make way now. And then I came to Milford. Just before Milford, I was in you come under the M9, and it's really weird. Like, I've decided that I prefer to go under those big roads rather than over them. When I go over them, like, they really pull. But the M9, and it's really bizarre because you can hear them go like zoom, 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 zoom. But I'm walking away from it, and I meet this couple, and they're sipping away on their coffee. And the same thing, they asked me, what's a big tent? Oh, and he said to me, he said, "You're going where? Jerusalem?" He says, "You can take medication for that, right?" I said, "Maybe you can, but I'm gonna walk it." But Magella, she went like, "That's amazing," and she goes, "I have a coffee pod called the Barrow Brew at Milford, the Milford Weir. You know, my sister is there, and if you make it in time, she'll make you a cup of coffee. Just say that Magella sent you." So I did, and we had a good old chat again, and they gave me coffee, and I had a little bit of a rest, and yeah, what a fucking day, like, what a day, what a day. I hobbled into Carlo, and lucky for me, like, I was so much later than I thought I would be, that they were waiting for me. They made dinner for me as well. So I got like curried vegetables with potatoes, and I got to meet this lovely, lovely family. She's from Romania and he's from Belgium, and they're living in Carlo, and they backpacked and travelled a little bit before they had their son, who's now 2 years old, and they're working and studying here. So they're putting me up for 2 nights, so I can have a rest today, and yeah, I'm glad because it was 27 kilometers yesterday evening. By the end of yesterday evening. Oh, and I met a woman who's going to do the Camino in September, and yeah, I had a chat with her as well, and she sent me a message today with a photograph that she took. So it was it was one of those days where I was feeling like, yeah, I'm on the right road, like this is good. Open heart, open mind, open the road before me and I will walk it. Oh yeah, and the mantra from that moment, I will and I can walk to Jerusalem. Now Sean the Harp came out this morning. It was the beginning of day 32. I went into Carlo town. I've been doing a little bit of my social media stuff, and I thought I'd do my update. I will be today in Carlo. I'll be doing. I'm finally getting the hang of this TikTok reel thing, so I'll be making a few more of those about the past few days, and yeah, rest a little bit because those poor feet they did get a bit of a banging, and I got some some needles and thread to fix some of the holes in my clothing because I'm starting to fall apart at the seams. And I was watching like these reels about sustainable clothing. What a lot of nonsense! Like all these people going out to buy like really expensive stuff, and they still keep wanting to have new stuff. Like the only sustainable fashion that is there is if you wear the clothes that you have. Anyway, I'll be wearing this, these two dresses for the remainder of the journey for sure. So, yeah, happy days, like, I'm okay, thank you very much. The weather is okay now today. I thought I saw some rain coming. It looks like the weather is going to pick up again, so it really was like a freak day there on day 30. Day 31 was amazing, and so maybe the rain was there to say to me, don't go any further than Gorse Bridge. Johnny Green really impressed me, and that man picking up the rubbish. Please don't throw your rubbish everywhere, yeah? Just take it home. Like, don't buy stuff that is packaged in rubbish. And actually, you know what? Wherever you can, tell the stores and tell people who work with this kind of stuff that they shouldn't be packaging it in that way. What we need a different way of looking at this. We need a way where industry is responsible for the packaging and not the end user. That's just my thought for the day. So I'm the Flouting Harper, Anya Bucker, together with Sean the Harp. I'm the Flouting Harper. We're on day 32 from here to Jerusalem, Clonakilty to Jerusalem with a harp on your back, on foot, of course, and expected journey time probably some 400 days, so another 368 days to go at least. And yeah, tomorrow we'll be heading to Athai, where I'll be playing for a project, and I'll be there for 2 days as well. And then we're heading for the Grand Canal to Dublin, and I'm going to see how many days that's going to take me from here. That's my work for today. Thank you very much for being here with me. Don't forget to hit that bell, subscribe, and I'll see you again on the other side. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I'm going to turn you around. And look at my coffee. I didn't get to drink and eat all of it. Thank you very much. See you soon.